Okay, 7 skills to take serious market share.
All right. Skills of improving our image. So this is super interesting, and we talked a little bit about it. As I go out on listing appointments, part of our image is our social media campaigns. Right now, as you all know, we're in election season. Don't polarize your audience and cut half of the people off because we have a strong opinion one way or the other. We have to be a chameleon to a large degree. The next thing I want you to think about is, what do you look like and how do you show up? So one of the biggest things that I wrote down is, who do I need to become to win more listing appointments, right? Do I need to be a little more engaging? Do I need to be a little less analytical and a little bit more? The reality is we need to be who they need us to be. So we need to be paying attention and hyper aware. And one of the ways that we do that is obviously through script practice. So we don't have to think about what we're going to say next. We can actually pay attention. But look at how you show up, everything from your shoes to your car, to your presentation, and make sure that your appearance is worthy of the check that you're going to receive when you win that opportunity.
Yep. You may want to review your 7 points.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Do you have your book?
I've got it in
He
front of
just
me.
skips ahead, you guys. It's so
Oh,
cute because he's like, I'm so excited to tell you everything. So, okay. So I wrote down on this one, improving your image. And I just wanted to share the couple points that I wrote down. First of all, the industry is shifting. We are experiencing it here in Utah a little bit faster than some of the other markets. And so we want to make sure that if we want to win in this market, we have to improve certain skills. And when I wrote this one down, the skill of improving our image, it's, fitness and nutrition. How are you showing up physically? How are you, how the way that you carry yourself? Are you walking in with your shoulders slumped? Are you smiling as you're walking up to the door? I mean, most of these we're all good, but is your hair done right? Does
nice.
your breath stink? Don't be a stinky traveler, right? And like Rod said, the social media, do a social media audit to make sure that how you're showing up on social media is how you want all of the public, your future clients to see you. You are a star now. Social media is not about your, being able to post about your kids and friends and family all the time. It's more about, you got to think about wider audience. If we want to win in this market, we need to improve our skill of sales ability. So what that means is the scripts, the dialogues, the training consistently. Is it in your schedule that you are actually looking at the scripts? Are you a secret agent not practicing them? What did you write down, Rob?
People make decisions based on how you make them feel.
Mhm.
So how, are we paying attention to how we're feeling and missing the most critical part of the presentation? Or do we have our skills down so sharp that we can 100% pay attention to them, their responses to our questions? It's not their responses, it's their reactions that make all the difference in whether you win the listing or lose the listing.
Yeah, I love that. That is why we train, is so that you don't have to think about what to say. And that's why we train on the very basic scripts. It's not because we don't add flowers to it later, because you will, because that's how we are, but it's just so that you don't have to think about what you're going to say. I put me twice because there's 2 really good ones for Rod. So if we want to win in this market, we need to work on the skill of connection through social media. We've been talking about that, little tips on the social media, and the fact that sellers are going to look for agents and buyers are going to look for houses. So make sure that your social media is up to par. Did you write anything else down on that one?
Yeah, so when you're going through social media, look at it as a
Oh,
tool, not entertainment. So DM somebody, PM somebody when you want to communicate with them, respond to what they're posting, because Look, the reality is very few people respond, they just consume. And when you respond, you become important or salient in their mind. And so they're thinking about you. So it is important to not just like a post, but to communicate with them, talk to them about how it made you feel, whatever it is.
Hey,
Build
thank you for saying
relationships.
that because I had forgotten about that point, and this is why we're kind of reviewing them together with you. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. The other thing is um, create engaging content. And I'll talk about this on my next one. I won't jump ahead, but guys like help me, who's the old town road guy?
Oh, Bob.
Bob Tompkins is he's a normal dude, but he is one of the most entertaining real estate Instagram social media channels in the planet. Thinks about things that are funny. He has an editor and they work together. I'll let Melody find one, but it's really good. Before we get done today, we'll share with you, but I want you to think about little things that happen and ways to make them funny and entertaining for people to consume. Sometimes they go viral and all of a sudden you're in front of,
Oh, honey, we can never move to Greenville. That's where he lives.
oh, does Bob in Greenville? Well, I don't need to compete with Bob.
I
Uh,
know, right?
yeah. And when you talk about appearance, Bob has created an appearance that for a lot of our old coaches and trainers would have been really a mistake.
Horrified.
Yep, long hair, facial hair, would be I mean, he looks like a biker in a different setting, but as an entertaining realtor, he's fantastic. So if you haven't been introduced to Bob,
Well,
by the way,
yeah, I've got a couple of them pulled up
go
right
ahead.
now.
Bob comes to all of Jeff's events, so you may get to meet him in person. Great guy.
Yeah. Okay. This is pretty funny. Ah, okay.
This client, he's a little reserved and old-fashioned, so please, please, no dirty jokes.
TJ, believe it or not, I am capable of making it through an entire conversation without making an obscene joke. What? I promise.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jake. Wow, that's a huge deck.
I could see myself sitting on that deck.
Yeah, it's perfect for entertaining.
Oh my God. I love hardwood.
Yeah, and it also goes throughout the first and the second levels. Keep it together, Bob.
I gotta be honest. I don't know if I can contain myself. I feel like I'm about to explode with excitement. As much as I want to come home and insert myself in this house, I'm gonna have to think long and hard.
Man, that's what she said.
Damn it.
You know what? I should give him a text. So, what do you want to offer on the house we saw last night?
Bob's texting. So what do you want to offer on the house we saw last night? I don't know. You're the expert.
I don't know. You're the expert? You said you wanted to think about it.
You said you wanted to think about it. Yeah. Well, like I said, you seem to know everything, so you just tell me.
You seem to know everything. The hell is this guy talking about? What have I done to deserve this?
What do you mean? Why wouldn't you deserve this? You know everything you've done.
What does he know? Listen, I don't think you should be playing games right now.
Don't think you should be playing games right now? No, you're right. You're right. Who cares about money? Why don't you just give them whatever they want?
You're right. Who cares about money? Why don't you just give them whatever they want? This sarcastic prick. Sure, let's give them over asking.
Sure. Let's give them over asking? Great idea. I end up with this house and you walk away with a fat commission check.
Great idea. I end up with a house and you walk away with a fat commission check? Ooh, this guy. That's it. Where are you? I'm coming over right now.
Where are you? I'm coming over right now. Now this is a commitment. I'm home. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it? This son of a... All right, buddy. I'm here. Let's do this.
Oh, great. You're here. Did you bring the contract?
The contract?
Yeah. Well, my dream home. And I can't thank you enough. You have been amazing through this whole process. You've got this whole real estate thing really nailed down. What's with the knife?
Oh, this thing? It's just a little gift. Everybody needs pocket knives in their new house.
Okay, sweet. For a second there, I thought you were going to stab me.
You know what? I should
Oh,
give him a
so
text.
funny. So, that is the next one.
Little things that, by the way, that pop up, like we have had this a lot recently, and you guys probably have as well. A friend of the family that sells real estate, or a family member that sells real estate, you could create some really funny content just like that around little things that we run into all the time that can be funny. All right. The skill of being an entertaining person. So you guys know this about me, right? Rod's quite serious most of the time. And when I show up and I'm under stress, I get more serious. I become an S type personality. And when I get under stress or pressure, I actually lean into the D type personality. So depending on the presentation, I may show up and be a lot less entertaining and way too serious. So I am working on doing things every day to make myself more entertaining and relaxed when I get to a presentation, following Bob's stuff, finding things that are funny about real estate to kind of shave off some of the edges, the rough edges that my personality naturally brings to the table. How can we become a more entertaining person? Because, like we talked about before, people make decisions based on how you make them feel. And if you're too serious, or if you're not, look, Melody used to say this all the time. You show up at a presentation, it's showtime. You are on stage for the next 35 or 45 minutes with somebody, and you've got to be that person when you're talking on the phone. Because how hard is it to talk on the phone and prospect and get rejected, and pick up with the same amount of energy that you did on call number one, and the same amount of anticipation, so that you have the best opportunity to get an appointment with that person. If you sound like you're discouraged, if you sound like you're sitting down, if you go through that process, guys, 100% of the time, you're not going to make them feel great. And that's maybe costing you the opportunity to get an appointment with them. So think about that. How can you be more entertaining? How can you be more engaging? How can you be the person they want to invite to the party, they want to spend time with? How can you be that person to give you the best opportunity to win the business? Good.
Smiling goes a long way, right?
Yeah, smiling goes a long way. The skill of getting over yourself quickly. So I don't know how many of you guys know this. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I went on one of the biggest slumps. In fact, I think it was the biggest slump of my entire real estate career. I went on like 10 appointments, one every day, and didn't pick up one. I went like 0 for 10. And I was coming home and I was letting that impact every aspect of my life, my relationship with my kids, how much time Melody wanted to spend with me, because, oh my gosh, I just don't even want to hear about this. You're driving me crazy. To the kind of music I was listening to in the car. Melody knows that when I get really angry, I end up like listening to some pretty rough music, right? Just to get it out of my system. You've got to be able to go, okay, the world is not conspiring against me, it's conspiring for me. And everything that is currently occurring in my life is to give me lessons to make me even better. And by the way, when we get done, I want to take 5 minutes and just talk about something that I've been listening to. But being able to get over yourself, learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn from the experience, and then move on, right? And the faster you're able to do that, there's going to be a lot of rejection. There's going to be a lot of challenging presentations where you're competing with multiple agents right now that are all starving and giving up business and everything else. So, guys, if you want to win in this market and specifically take market share, you've got to be willing to put yourself out there and let the blows kind of bounce off of you. Learn the lesson, move on. Learn the lesson, move on. Get better, get better, get better. You've already seen in the office, we've lost several agents to the referral branch because they weren't able to get enough business to make things work. It could happen to a few more of us if we're not committed to doing what's necessary in this market to be successful. But I'll tell you, there's so many people leaving the business that even though the number of transactions is shrinking, the number of agents is shrinking probably even faster, which means that there's more business to be had for those committed agents that are committed to growing their businesses and improving their businesses during this downturn. So think about that. We won't lose market share. This is one of the greatest opportunities of your career to gain market share and create long-term, profitable, successful real estate businesses.
Correct. One of the tricks that I learned early on was when you're prospecting, because that's usually when you hit the most rejection. So when you're prospecting, and write down, when you get done with your session, write down some wins. And I used to have a 3x5 card. I'd write down a win, throw it in a drawer. And then when I would have a down day, like somebody really rejected me, or I didn't get the listing appointment that I wanted, that I went on, that I really wanted, things like that, I would open up that little drawer. It was just a little teeny drawer. I'd open up the drawer and I'd start looking at those things that were going well for me and my business. And it is so powerful to just keep focusing on the positive things. It's like yesterday morning, if this is okay for me to share, Red.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, we got a response on a $2 million listing appointment that we went on, and that Rod went on, and didn't get it. They chose the other agent because I think, again, divorce situation, and I think that she liked Rod and he didn't, and he was going to win no matter what. So one of those things. But it doesn't even matter. What matters is, he was really hoping for that. And he could let that crash his entire day, or he could focus on the fact that we're launching a listing today, that we got a yes yesterday on a $950,000 listing. Like, there are so many things that you can find that are going on in your life. Celebrate those small miracles. And that's how I have a lot of things that happen to me every single day that are really hard, and I can't focus on them. I have to focus on those wins. So I know I get really excited about this because it's been like everybody's going through something crazy right now, and I get to hear it all. And so we got to focus on those wins and the things that make us happy. And if we want to win in this market, work on your skill of writing great copy. And what that means is social media copy. It means if you're blogging, if you're doing a marketing piece, anything, make sure that you're getting really good at the skill of writing great copy. There is a Sales Rocket class that defines a really good formula for writing copy. And basically, it's this: the hook. So ask a question that's going to hook them in to that social media piece. So ask a question, introduce yourself, and you've got to say the company that you're with. If it's anything about real estate, like houses, right? Is that what the rules are? So
Yeah.
introduce yourself, tell them the brokerage that you're with, and then do the body. So ask the question, intro, answer the question, and then close. Your close needs to be a call to action of some kind. Now, a lot of us, as we're out there doing some social media, we don't ask for action, and that's a wasted opportunity. One of the things that I am working really hard at, and I say really hard because it's not easy, it's really hard. It takes time. It's not hard. It just takes time. Is on our YouTube channel with the new content that we're putting out on the coaching side, which, by the way, we're not opening a coaching company. It's just what the brand that we've had before. And it is about growing your real estate business on that channel. So that's why it's branded that way. So on that channel, what we've done is been working on is at the very end, you can put an end screen on so that they will click on the next video. Well, watching YouTube, I ran across a content creator who came up with this great screen, and it had their logo, their website, and then the YouTube things that they wanted to click on them next and subscribe. I'm like, I'm going to do that. So you'll notice it later today at the very end, it's got a QR code that goes to a form. They fill out 2 pieces of information, and you can test it, when you see this. They fill out their name and their email address to get a free download. That information goes into our database. And then they have the opportunity, if they want to join our referral network, meaning that, we could really use some more people in these really weird places. So if they want to join our referral network, they have to fill out their address so that I have it, so that when you ask me, do you know anybody in Greenville, I can pull up the list and give you a couple of options, right? So that call to action was actually a funnel to get the information from them. So I want you to think about everything that you're posting out. How can you create a lead out of it rather than just posting it to see if it'll stick to the wall? Okay, sorry. I guess that was a big class on its own, right? Okay, Rod.
All right. So the skill of hitting your database, getting an 8% return from your database. For years, all of the trainers taught that you could get 10% return from your database. So, 1,000-person database is good for 100 transactions. It's closer to 8% today if you're really crushing it. But the key thing here is communicating and asking the right questions. So I'm going to give you, as I was going through my slump and too serious and running into all kinds of problems and creating some ugly stuff in my life, let me tell you about one other experience. So I had a buyer, I went out and showed him a property, and she brought her best friend. We hit it off. We spent some time together. Best friend loved me. I forgot all about it. Continued to show my client properties, and we got her under contract, and we're closing next week, right? So everything's going good. Well, my coach goes, "Are you asking for referrals?" As during one of our phone calls. So I got off the phone call. I had to call her anyways. I call Lorena and I say, "Hey, I should have asked you this earlier, but it just came up and I figured I better ask." People that are going through this process, looking at homes, buying homes, going through it, you're often aware of other people around you that are thinking about doing the same thing. Who do you know that I should know that might be thinking about buying a home? She goes, "Oh, Rod, do you remember my best friend?" So her and her husband went out and looked at new construction properties, ran into an agent. They're actually under contract and working with someone. Now they loved you, by the way, but in fact, they were trying to talk me into letting this contract go and going out with them because the builder can get them a 5.5% rate on a brand new property that's being built for them. So they're under contract on that. Tried to get me to cancel this one and go with them. Not only did I miss the opportunity with someone that loved me and wanted to work with me after I met them, but I nearly lost my own client because I didn't ask that simple question. Hey, as you go through this process, you're probably aware of other people that are thinking about buying, thinking about selling, going through the process as well. Who do you know that I should know that might be thinking about making a move in the near future? That is a critical question. And the earlier in the relationship that you ask it, the more opportunities you're going to get from referrals. This 8% number isn't just the people that we already know, it's the people that they also know that we don't know that they refer to us that can get that number up to 8% from our sphere of influence. If you don't like prospecting, guys, just have these conversations with people you already know, like, and trust, and know that know, like, and trust you. And that will grow your business to a pretty decent number. If you can get 8% and you've only got 200 people, that's 16 transactions a year. That's more than one a month. That's $100,000 a year in real estate income. You can do really well, even if you've only got 200 people in your database. Just think about that. You just got to ask the questions.
Yeah. That 8%, I mean, if you're not working your database, then you're missing out on a really easy way to get business. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to the extreme of calling them every single month and hounding them and, doing, going overboard. You don't want that. You don't want to be the Amway salesman that when they walk in the room or, in church that everybody runs away from you. You do not want to be that person. What you do want to be is you want to make sure that you are the real estate resource, the real estate authority, so that when you're in these environments, your sphere of influence, people, they know that you're in real estate and they come and talk to you about it. Does that make sense? So they're always going to come and talk to you. How do you create real authority in real estate? You guys, start a YouTube channel. Like, seriously, do something.
Become the local expert. Yep.
Yep, become that local expert. I'm just saying YouTube channel because that's where my focus is right now, but it's evergreen. We are still getting views on a video that I posted 3 years ago. It's our top video. 70,000 people have seen it. That is a bigger reach than I could have walking into a room of 25 people, right? So, okay.
All right. I'll take just a quick second, you guys, on something I've been, just kind of paying attention to. So I'm going to take you back years and years ago. I was actually in Oklahoma City at the time. And I had been reading books and self-help books and motivational books and all that kind of stuff. I was in sales. It was a different type of sales in real estate, but I was doing it. At the time, I had written down, somebody had told me that I should write down 10 things that I want to accomplish in the next year, 10 goals, right? So I wrote them down in a notebook, and I remember reading them a couple of times, and I forgot about it. Then we got ready to move. We moved back to Utah. Several years later, I find the notebook. I open up the notebook, and I had looked at all of the goals. And shockingly, 9 out of the 10 things I had written down, I accomplished, including buying a boat, including buying a home. I can't remember. There was a couple of things like making 150,000 a year, which back in 2005 was a significant amount of money. It's still a lot, but everything I wrote down, I had actually accomplished. And I started to read a book called Mind Magic, listening to it on Audibles about some of this kind of stuff. And if anybody is interested on working towards manifestations, and I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, different things like that. This is actually a doctor and a medical doctor that gives you evidence on how to manifest things in your life by plugging them into your subconscious mind and allowing your subconscious mind to pay attention, letting the subconscious mind know that it's important. So here's what I would encourage you to do. If anybody's interested in doing that, with me or something like that, we jump on a phone call 5 minutes once a week and just kind of talk about things. However, here's what I would encourage all of you guys to do. Get yourselves in a good mindset, right? Not around fear, not around worry. I mean, we're all going through some tough stuff right now. I want you to just kind of get yourself in a good space. No alcohol for 24 hours, no recreational drugs for 24 hours, but just kind of get yourself in a good, clear position. And when you do, I want you to start to dream. And I want you to write, I sat down and I was able to write 5 things, 5 goals that I want to have happen in my life, 5 things that I want to accomplish over the next year. And I just wrote them down. And what I'm going to be doing is every day I'm going to rewrite those goals and then I'm going to let it go. Right. Yes, I'm going to continue to work. Yes, I'm going to continue to be active in everything that I'm doing because I think that's an important part of it. But I'm just going to allow my subconscious mind to know that those things are important in my life, because what you'll discover is that as you go through life, we can only process a very, very small amount consciously. Um, and most of the stuff that we're experiencing is being managed by our subconscious mind. And when you make your subconscious mind aware of the things that are important, it will make you aware so that you're consciously aware of opportunities that are presenting themselves. I know that's a little bit weird. Hopefully that's something that you guys can engage with me on, but um, just start by writing a handful of goals and then rewriting those same goals every night and just keep it up. I plan on doing it from now until the end of the year just to see what kind of an impact it has, but just to make my subconscious aware that it's important to me. So anyways, if anybody has any questions, the book is called Mind Magic. The author's last name is Doty, D-O-T-Y. I got it on Audible, so I'm listening to it in the car and just kind of going through it. It's pretty fascinating how powerful your mind is, your mind and your brain is in actually creating things in your life. And the reality is, for most of us, we're manifesting things, but we're living in fear and anxiety, and we're telling our subconscious mind that those things are important. So it's our subconscious is creating more of that in our life because it thinks it's important to us. If you've ever, you know, gone in a relationship and then find yourself in the same relationship with a different person, that's why. If you've ever found yourself in a downward spiral and it just keeps getting worse, that's why. Because we have trained our subconscious mind that that's important to us. So it keeps showing up in our lives. So when we focus on the things that are important, that are actually going to move us in the right direction, you'd be surprised at how much of that actually comes into reality. Does that make sense?
You cannot control your first thought, but you can control the next one.